operating an e-commerce business, GSTR 1 has been upgraded with additional feature and automation. Table 14 and 15 have been introduced on GST portal and are available from January 2024. Would you like to know more in detail? Hello everyone, I am Praminder Kaur from Team Webtel. In this video, I will discuss table 14 and 15 in GSTR 1 designed for e-commerce operators and related notification. So stay tuned, and before starting this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel Webtel Microsoft for regular compliance update. First, let's understand the notification and connection with GSTR 1. We are aware that in GSTR 1, we have to fill the detail regarding the sales. So sales could be B2B, B2C or any mode of the sale, that is even through the e-commerce. So now we will first understand what is e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator means electronic commerce operator has been defined under the section 245 of the CGS Act 2017, which means that any person owns, operate or manage digital or electronic facility or platform for the electronic commerce. Example, Amazon, Flipkart, etc. are considered to be as an e-commerce operator. So some of the changes has been made in GSTR 1 filing regarding the e-commerce operator under the notification number 26/2022 central tax dated 26 December 20. This changes has been applicable from January onwards, that is from January 2024. The two new tables has been introduced. One is table number 14 and another is table number 15. So in the table number 14, all the disclosure required to be mentioned, but in the table number 15, all the supply under the section 9(5) of the CGS Act needed to mention. What was earlier concept? In GSTR 1 filing did not have any specific table regarding the disclosure of all this information. So as a result, in the table 3.1.1 in 3B was not auto-filled due to the absence of corresponding reporting section. To make this work more easier, so now the government has issued two new tables in GSTR 1, that is table number 14 and table number 15 for the e-commerce operator. So table number 14 is regarding the supply, the disclosure needed to be mentioned, and table number 15 is the e-commerce operator need to fill the detail by itself in GSTR 1. So this modification ensure accurate auto-filling of the table 3.1.1 in the GSTR 3B for both suppliers as well as an e-commerce operator. You can see in GSTR 1 form the table number 14 with the name of the supply made to the e-commerce operator, disclosure required to be mentioned. So one by one we will understand these two tables 14 as well as the table number 15. Table number 14 is divided into two further parts. One is 14A and 14B. In 14A, all the sale pertain to TCS under the section 52, which has been already reported in table number 4 to 10. That means from table number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. All the detailed information has been mentioned will be shown of the disclosure under the table number 14A, which is pertain to the section TCS. Under the section 52, deduction of the TCS by the e-commerce operator generate applicable for the goods only. So disclosure required to be mentioned. So you can see now the tax collection at sources is the provision under the section 52 of the GST Act, which mandate ECO, that is electronic commerce operator, to collect tax on certain supply made through their platform. So you can see in the table number 14, there are two tables. First is you're liable to collect tax under the section 52 TCS. What information required to fill in this table? The star button is the mandatory. In this you have to mention the e-commerce operator GST number, then trade name or the legal name, net value of the supplier, integrated tax, central tax, state tax and cess if required. In the case more than e-commerce operator portal is used, more than one e-commerce operator supplier has been made. So one by one you have to fill all the detail by clicking save. As per the section 9(5) of the CGST Act, e-commerce operators is required to pay tax on the supply of the services such as the passenger transport services or accommodation services, housekeeping, restaurant services. So under these supplies, which e-commerce operators are eligible to fill this detail, that is Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Uber, Urban Clap and the OYO are included, need to fill this form. What information is required to fill in this table 14B? That is, first is GSTN of e-commerce operator, trade name, legal name, net value of the supplies, integrated tax, CGST, SGST and cess if required. So in this also the star button is required. One by one all the details can be filled in this part of the table. Now what is the difference between section 52 and under the section 9(5)? Under section 52, the TCS to be collected by the e-commerce operator on the net value of the taxable supply made by other supplier through it. So in this only goods detail will be disclosed. Now under the section 9(5), that is liability of the tax fall on the e-commerce operator and he is treated as if the supplier of those services. So in this case also only small in size paying tax as he supplied directly. For example, driver will not covered under the GST. So driver won't collect the tax. So that is why this table has been. For example, now OYO, Ola, Uber, driver won't collect the tax. Next is the table number 15, which is eligible for e-commerce operator. That is, only the e-commerce operator will fill this table. In this table, all the sale made through the e-commerce operator on which they have paid the tax under the section 9(5) must be reported by the e-commerce operator only. So, e-commerce operator must report the sales made through them on which they must have paid the tax under the section 9 to 5. Such e-commerce operator must report GSTN of both the seller and the buyer if it is the B2B transaction or for any B2C transaction if it is sufficient if it is reported rate-wise. If it is B2B transaction, then document detail as issued by the e-commerce operator should be reported. So that is why the e-commerce operator can report the supply of which e-commerce operator is liable to pay tax under the section 9(5) of the Act for the below type of the supply recipient need to mention. First is registered supplier to the registered recipient, registered supplier to unregistered recipient, unregistered supplier to unregistered recipient, unregistered supplier to unregistered recipient. So we will check one by one all the forms, that how we have to fill the detail. As you can see, all the four reports are available in different table under the table number 15, that is supply under the section 9(5). So first is your registered supplier to registered recipient. This means that supplier and the receiver both are registered under the GST scenario. So now in this, the supplier GSTN number, the supplier name, recipient GSTN number, recipient name, document number, document date, total value of the supply made, place of the supply are the mandatory field to be filled in this part of the form. Registered supplier to unregistered recipient, that is B2C. In this case, that means seller is registered but recipient is not registered. So that is why the place of the supply is mandatory. In this case, the supplier GSTN name, GSTN number and name, place of the supply, taxable value and rate is mandatory part to be filled. The supply type is the optional. Next is unregistered supplier to the registered recipient. Now in this case the scenario is different. The supplier is not registered but the recipient is registered. So that is why in this case also the recipient GSTN number, name, document number, document date, total value of the supplier made, place of the supplier is mandatory part. You have to save the form and fill the next detail if required. The last is unregistered supplier to unregistered recipient. This means now here supplier is also unregistered and recipient is also unregistered. In this case, place of the supplier, taxable value and rate is mandatory to be filled and supply type need is optional if you want to fill. After filling all the detail, click on the Save tab, and this is how you can fill your table number 50. I hope you have understood that the addition of table 14 and 15 in GSTR 1 is a significant development that will help improve the accuracy and completency of GST return, especially for the company involved in e-commerce transaction. As business adjusts to these changes, it is important to keep up to date with such updates to ensure smooth and precise GST filing in changing tax environment. For better comprehension, check out the blog link in the video description box and share it with your friends and colleagues. If you found this video helpful, let us know in the comment section. Also, you can comment if you have any doubts. Give the thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Next Tuesday, we will come up with another interesting video. Till then, stay safe and stay tuned with us for better compliance and enterprise journey.